Good morning from Florida. Hope everybody's okay. It's been a rough week, but making it through. Becoming more hermit-like by the moment. I keep getting attacked online. I don't know why. I mean, they get attacked because they don't like my name. The Christians don't like my name, Sky Viking. They say that I'm a follower of Odin, like, which makes me laugh because, you know, the followers of the old ways don't just worship Odin. They worship gods and goddesses. Example, Freya, Loki. So there's a little bit of a problem with the definition of that as well. But no, I am a follower of Jesus Christ. Yes, I have studied many different religions over the years. Norse religions, Buddhism, Celtic religions of Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and France, Germanic religions, lots of different things. I have a history degree. I'm really interested in that stuff. And I've always been studying it over the years. And during my travels, you know, I would go and visit different sites, such as in Ireland, like the Druid circles, similar to the ones in Stonehenge. But I didn't understand why I was getting attacked so bad by a Christian male. It offended him that my name was Sky Viking and that I should change my name. Well, I hate to tell everybody, I'm not going to change my name just because one male doesn't like my name. I've been literally Sky Viking for years, like way back to the Hotmail address. I used to be Sky Viking at Hotmail. Of course, I don't have that anymore. And I also was, that was my screen name when I was working for Northwest Airlines. So, when I was a flight attendant, that was a joke. Oh, I'm a Sky Viking, I'm traveling the world. But I wonder why, the reason why I'm bringing it all up is because I'm like, oh my goodness, is it already starting? Is it already starting like in 2016? It wasn't what 2016 when you know, who was president last time. I was like, are we going to start the misogyny already? Right out of the gate. And then I go online and it was like, there was something on a comment or a post on X that said, now we have control of all the women's bodies. And then 30,000, did you hear me? 30,000 people liked that comment. So let's talk about misogyny after the person got elected. And let's talk about that and how when you have narcissistic abuse after you recover, you get triggered easier than a normal person with your complex PTSD. So I just want to warn everyone, it's going to be rough out there because you're going to get triggered. You're going to get triggered by these males. And I'm not attacking any male. Like, I've seen women getting attacked online right now. I stay at home by myself, usually. I have live-in grown adults with me that go to college that are my children. So I am not the childish cat lately. I am the cat lady, though. I do have several cats, which I see women getting attacked for that too. I'm like, I know that I'm laughing a little bit because to me it's totally ridiculous, but it's getting to the point where it's quite frightening to think that there are people out there that just can't stand you because of that you're a woman. I mean, it's ridiculous, especially a non-childbearing years woman that's older, that literally has cats. So I want to remind everyone that in the 1400s and the 1500s, they burned people as witches, thousands throughout Europe. And not only did they burn witches, but they killed all the cats. And they said that the cats were their familiars and that they were helping the witches. So they killed all the cats. And this is the strange fact, you know, that you may not know. When they killed all of the cats off, that contributed to the Black Plague, because the Black Plague came from a flea that was on rats. So without those extra cats killing out the rats, then there was more rats, and then the Black Plague was literally spread more that way. So, strange fact. And the Black Plague, no joke, that was a bad one, you know. That killed millions of people. So my point of the matter is how can you deal with navigating and not getting triggered by all the misogyny and just the defamation of women's characters? And just like another thing that I saw online was, oh, well, if they would just stop spreading their legs and getting pregnant, they wouldn't need to get, you know, an abortion. Really? Really? What about all of these men that sleep with numerous women, impregnate them, do not use any kind of contraception, leave them, and don't contribute to any kind of parenting or give child support? Therefore, they are contributing to impoverished children. But I keep seeing this, if they just didn't spread their legs. It takes two to tango, people. I don't get it. And so I was wondering, as a woman, what if you're a man and you watch this video, could you please tell me what you think is the reason behind this hatred towards women? Because I literally always respect people. It doesn't matter if they're male or female. Oh, that's another thing. If they'd say a comment like, those females, that means they're really a misogynist. If they don't even say woman, if they say those females, that's even worse. But I'm tired of dealing with it and seeing it. It's making me like think that we're really, really going to have to protect ourselves these days. I remember long ago when the person that got elected, I just don't want to say his name and get triggered, you know, get triggered myself, but also just to say that it might get a flag on YouTube. But I remember the last one election, and then after that, males were, I'll say males like they do to me, females were getting really brazen about their demeanor around women. And I remember going to a gas station, I was getting gas, and the school called me and I had to pick up my son who was sick or something. So I looked down, I just got finished pumping gas, I got in the car, and I got a text from school, and I was texting back going, okay, I'll be there to pick him up shortly. This guy starts honking at me, screaming at me, get the F out of the way, you know, the whole usual the whole 9 yards of abuse, slurs. I get out of the car and I said, what's wrong? Why are you screaming? Get the hell out of the way, stop moving, stop getting on your phone. I said, number one, you can't talk to me like that. Number two, I had an emergency, and that's why I was on my phone. And it's not the end of the world that you have to wait 30 seconds before you can pump gas. And then he starts calling me, you know, the usual, blah, 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 blah. So I remember I had a hammer in my car, and I got it out. I said, are you threatening me? Because I'm not going to deal with this. I said, you want to go this route? Because unlike some of the women that I heard online yesterday that said they actually had to leave because some guy cut them off, and that in a parking space that was made for children and women, you know, that's closer up, you know, for people that have babies and stuff. They cut her off and got in the parking place, and then went in the parking place and gave her the finger and said, you know, the usual F you and all that stuff. And she was scared to go in because she had 2 little children. Unlike that woman, I got out of the car with a hammer, and I was like, do we need to go and have a little talk? Because I'm always like, if anybody tries to threaten me, I never back down, because if you back down, that's when stuff gets real. You know, you could get really hurt. So I got out of the car, got my hammer that I always keep underneath the seat for that reason, and said, don't you dare talk to me like that. and I started talking to him, and they started yelling at me, and this really tall, big guy came out right of the gas station right at that time and said, "Hey, is everything okay?" I said, "No, it's not okay. This man is threatening me right now. But that's okay because he's about ready to get, this in his face." And the guy goes, "Are you messing with her?" She goes, "You should leave right now." Finally, the guy just gets in the truck and leaves. But I'm telling you, women, if you have anybody that disrespects you because you're a woman, do not back down, but also protect yourself. I'd advise you to get pepper spray. I'd advise you to get your home protected. Cameras on your car. Whatever you need. I'm in the state of Florida, that I have protection for me to protect my property, but which I use totally to the extreme. But this is getting out of control. It needs to be addressed, and all of these men are saying very derogatory statements toward women, like they've won a battle to abuse women. And the problem I have with all of this is whomever was elected as president, you do not have the right to treat one gender worse, or anyone, because of their race, their sexual orientation, or their gender. You do not have the right to abuse and just be terrible people. These same people say they are Christians and follow Jesus Christ. Do you think Jesus Christ would want anyone to be treated in that manner and abused? And what do you think? And why is it, young males, that you think that women are there to just be like, "Ha ha, I got you"? When someone puts a comment that says, we now control women's bodies, like it's a win, and 30,000 others like it, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? And they're like, "Oh, you're being so dramatic." It's saying, we're going to the Handmaid's Tale. This is in the first few days. And I didn't like anybody in this election, either candidate, at all. And I could not believe how bad it was for what we had choices. But when you have a candidate that has been accused by 24 different women of sexual misconduct and essaying, then we've got issues. How can people believe that this person is their savior? What I'm getting at is this, people. Throughout history, there have been leaders that lead to dictatorship. Let's give examples. Joseph Stalin, they called him Father Russia. He killed everyone that went up against him. Anybody different, any other person, dead. That's how it was. They are all deceased. And we all know about Hitler. If you don't know about Hitler and what happened then, by all means, please educate yourself. Educate yourself on how Germany was at the very beginning, when he was, right before he got elected, how Germany was. It was very similar, with immigrants coming in and people wanting to have German pride and nationalism. And that's how Hitler got into power. So, when I say to you, What is it, men? What is it? What is it that you hate so much about women that you have to say such nasty things and say that you have control over our bodies? Do you have control? Are you insecure? Are you scared of women? Because you were birthed from a woman. Your life is from a woman. Without a woman, you would not be here on this earth. And I keep hearing about how bad women are in dating and everything. But it goes both ways. And I have not talked about this, how bad it is. But for me, I've chosen not to ever date again. Which is fine because I'm on my path with God and I have other things to do. But I have been disrespected at the workplace as a woman. I've had ageism. I've been destroyed constantly. I was a traditional wife that these women all say, oh, you should do, for the family. And that's another problem. We got the traditional wife that's going along with this misogynistic behavior. And I can tell you right now, kudos to you if you want to stay home and raise your children and not have somebody else raise your children. I did the same, and I respect you for that. But if you leave after you've been out of work, I literally was out of work for 16 years, I think it was. No one will hire you. They'll be like, what are you doing? And you'll say, oh, I've been volunteering all this stuff. I volunteered at the school. At the time, I volunteered for 4-H program, PTO programs at school, therapeutic writing programs to help with people that had like veterans, MS patients, and did therapeutic writing with them with horses. Volunteered hours and hours, but as a traditional wife, gave my children everything. I can't even barely get an interview right now, people, now that I'm older. And then they'll say, oh, you're overqualified, or they're saying that you're underqualified, whatever. I'm so over it right now, I could care less. I'm ready to pack it up and just leave. But what do you want out of us, men? I would really like to know. Down to even attacking my name makes them angry. And saying that I'm not with Jesus Christ because I have Viking in my name. That's how ignorant people are. People, do you understand that Christianity was brought over when there was Vikings and Vikings became Christians? The amount of ignorance I have seen. All I keep seeing is the witches, the witches, the witches. Who are these supposed witches you're talking about? Because I could tell you throughout history, the one thing that happened over and over again was the witches were burned at the stake, drowned, ripped apart, killed in the most horrible, horrendous ways. And these people that they said were witches, they could be just someone that had independent land at the time, and they called them witches just so they could steal their lands. Anybody that had any kind of independent thought, burned at the stake. If you had red hair, burn at the stake. If you had green eyes, burn at the stake. If you owned cats, burn at the stake. If you helped people get healed and they thought you healed them through some witchy ways with herbs, burn at the stake. It goes that quickly. Throughout history, people were sacrificed for that. for misogyny and control. Let's get down to it. It's control. And then when you go back to really, really far, far back in ancient history, they had matriarchal societies where the women were the leaders. But as Christianity grew, it became more of a patriarchal society, and women were put into their role as the woman at home and the family. And this could happen. This could repeat again and again. Do you want your mothers to be abused? Do you want your sisters, your daughters to be abused? Do you, as a male, especially those ones that make comments like, oh, we control their bodies, do you want your mother to be abused by men? Do you want your sisters to be abused by men? If you have a daughter, do you want your daughter to be a pawn just to be used by men? Because it could go downhill. Look how fast it happened in Iran. In Iran in the 70s, it was one of the most beautiful countries. Women were becoming teachers and getting jobs and everything. Do you think they have any of that now with the Taliban there? No. They have to be totally covered up. They can't go to college. And in some places, they can't even go to school. They don't want them to go to school and read and write. They marry them off at the age of like 12, 10, 12. Do you want that? Do you want that for your daughters? Because that happened in just one generation and finalized in two. Right now, I'm just so just horrified by this. Now, I've watched several videos about men and how they're concerned about how women have the Jezebel spirit and all these things. So I know that men are worried because women are not like they used to be too for them. I don't know what they really want, but all I've seen is people that are not satisfied, that have 10 different options and 10 different women on the hook, and disrespect them all and don't honor any of them by dating one or respecting them. That's why I've walked away from dating. And I hope that everyone out there, if you are a woman, you protect yourself. Go learn some martial arts. Learn how to use I don't know how to say it without being flagged, but the right to bear arms in this country. There you go. Learn how to use that. Also, like I said, cameras everywhere, which is sad that you have to do that. Be very, very cautious when going out, because like that time when I was at a gas station, the guy starts screaming at me. That could happen at any time. I deliberately go out early in the morning to go shopping at the grocery store or go all over the place, because guess what? There's not as many people out then. And it's just easier. But even the other day, excuse me, miss, can I have some money? You know, I mean, it's everywhere. Like at like 7:30 in the morning, they're starting. You got to be careful out there. I'm really saddened because I have a daughter that's younger, and I just cannot believe that anybody would talk. If anybody talked to my daughter like the way these men talk online, I would literally go and just go crazy and attack. That's how bad it is as a mother. Because my daughter is so smart and so nice and so sweet. I would never, ever let anybody talk to her in the manner these men talk to you. And for all of you that are in this misogynistic kind of relationship of disrespect and narcissism, please get out. It doesn't get any better. They get worse and worse over time. Take it from me. I've tried numerous times to compromise with narcissists, appease the narcissist, give it into the narcissist to make it easier. The time is no more. Disrespect is disrespect. Don't let anybody disrespect you anymore. Don't let anyone insult you. And don't let anybody tell you what to do that doesn't even know you and insults you online. Pray for all these people, because there is seriously something wrong with them, and the devil is working strong to destroy our world by pitting women and men against each other. It is just an act of the devil. And believe me, Jesus Christ would not like any woman to be disrespected in that way. It's not only just really disturbing, but frightening to think what this world is coming to. I'm praying for everyone. I'm praying for all of you men, that you remember that you come from a woman, that you come from a woman's womb, which is so precious that life was given to you. Remember that and respect women as I respect men equally. Lots of love from Florida. Have a wonderful day. And please stay safe out there. Everyone, stay safe. I'll pray for you all. Cheers from Florida.